Goodness gracious. Hi, how you doing, everyone? Good to see you. How is everyone's rice paper roll preparation gone? Is that, oh no, that's just a green dot on me. How weird. I think it's a reflection. Yes, all right, cool. Reflection from my screen. Okay, great. We have got, I don't know what's going on around here at the moment. I think Jill's feeding her cats. Richard and Jeremy are inoculating seeds to do magic voodoo on them for tomorrow. I think they're being planted tomorrow. I'm here. Polly's here. Where are you, Pol? Hang on. There she is. Polly's here, ready for you guys. Hello, Emily. Back from tasting. Oh, I can't wait to hear about Sonoma. Sounds awesome. Hello, Jeff and Sue. Stop complaining about not being in Brunswick Heads. Honestly, Peter and Karen tell me that Paul's down and it's his fault that the weather's so bad. So thank you, Paul. Sarah, hello. Hello, Trixes. Okay, let me show you. Sharpie and Rod, hello. Good to see you. Lovely to have you back. All right, wine, food, tick. Let's get started. So I have to show off my rice paper rolls first because I'm quite proud of them. There you go. I made those myself just a moment ago. So they're nice and glistening and ready to go. I've got 3 dipping sauces. One is peanut. One is sweet chili. And one, I'm not going to pick up because I'll spill it everywhere, is half soy sauce, half rice wine vinegar with a bit of chili and a tiny splash of sesame oil in. So I'm going to attempt to dip my rice paper rolls in all of those dipping sauces and see what works best with this beautiful Pinot Gris, Devil Ben Creek Pinot Gris 2020. We have tasted this before about 7 months ago. Okay, thank you. It's always nice. It's always nice to have someone else make them for you. I didn't expect many people to make them, but I was having a bit of a, one of those days that I was trying to not do proper work. So I made rice paper rolls instead. All right. I've brought 2 glasses. I think I'm going to enjoy the wine best out of this glass, but I've also brought a Pinot glass just in case it's a bit closed and inexpressive in this one. So let's try with this one first. So 2020 Devil Ben Creek Pinot Gris. This is a beautiful little white wine, and it's a slightly sad story because we've actually decided that we're not going to make the Devil Ben Creek Pinot Gris anymore. Possibly never again, certainly not this year or last year. So I will explain all of that later. It makes me a bit sad because I think it's a lovely wine. An online sale rush, absolutely, Fiona. So the cool thing about this wine as well is that most of the 2020 Devil Ben Creek Pinot Gris was sold to Norway. And we've got about 20 cases left here at the winery that are available for you guys. Well, Norway decided that it was a bit too hard even for them to sell. So they've said they're not buying any more Australian wine at the moment. I think we broke them, which is ridiculous. It's very sad. And we also, over the last couple of years, we've been a bit short of Pinot Gris. The Pinot Gris on skins is doing really well for us. We want to make a little bit more of the estate Pinot Gris because we think that's a lovely wine. And the quality of the fruit was too good for Devil Ben Creek Pinot Gris. So we had to make the difficult decision to not make it this year. We didn't make it in 2021. We did make it in 22. We didn't make it in 23, and we didn't make it in 24. So certainly not saying that we'll never make it again, but it's just having a little rest at the moment. So what's cool about this wine? Linda, first dibs. Well, Linda, you possibly, the not proper work trick. Thank you, Linda. Yes. Fessing up. But one of the other reasons that we decided not to make this wine for a couple of years is that it really never took off out there in the world. It's done quite well for us through online sales and cellar door, and obviously with you guys. But we launched our first Devil Ben Creek Pinot Gris, I think, just before COVID happened. So oh God, that was a big mistake. Hang on. I can't do my hair online because it's opposite. Anyway, don't touch it. It's okay. Hello, Nareem. How are you going? Lovely to see the dyes online. So we launched the first of these, which I think was 2019. Someone will probably get me sorted with the vintages. Hello, Alison. Lovely to see you. In late 2019, early 2020, so it might have been 2018. I can't quite remember, but it didn't do brilliantly for us. It was a bit slow off the mark. It was a bit slow out there in the world, and then COVID happened and all the restaurants closed, and we just had a wonderful hello, Craig. How are you? Have you got Karen and Joan there as well? Lovely to see you guys. I'm just telling the sad story of Devil Ben Creek Pinot Gris. So it never really kind of kicked off, and so we had some 2018 that we sold, some 2019 that we sold. It took quite a while, and then the 2020, as I said, we had the opportunity to sell it to Norway, so we did. We didn't have any 21, so we moved straight on to the 22, and the 22's just about sold out. So Joan's done the Vietnamese rolls. Excellent, Craig. Okay, I'm going to show you guys my Vietnamese spring rolls again because I'm quite proud of them. I made mine a little bit smaller than Mum and Dad's with just 2 prawns and 2 mint leaves, so I can hopefully cut it in half and fit it in my mouth without not being able to talk for 5 minutes. So origin story for the Jill, you're on camera. Oh, you got a pussycat. Well done. Hello. No, that's okay. Wave as you walk past. Oh, you've run right across the camera and everyone's got to see you for longer. That's lovely. Is Kate on because we can't see her? Jeff and Sue, I am on. Can everybody else see me? That's a bit of a worry. Cat, exactly, Shell. That's Shasha. Who's just, or is it Jack? No, Shasha. Yes, so she's just coming. Oh, good, excellent. All right, well, Sue and Jeff are just going to have to sort themselves out. So, hello, Jack and Zach. Lovely to see you. Good. Excellent. A bit of fluff on my lip. That's no good. So, origin story for the Pinot Gris, Devil Ben Creek Pinot Gris, we made because our distributor in Sydney said to us back in 2017, it'd be really nice if you had a Devil Ben Creek Pinot Gris that was a little bit less expensive than the estate Pinot Gris and that was picked a little bit earlier, so it was crunchier, more green pear than yellow pear, and maybe just a little tiny bit of residual sugar. So it's the first time we've made a wine to spec for someone else, and it turns out that, as lovely as the wine is, that they haven't sold as much of it as they would have liked to. And so I'll tell you about this wine. We do pick it a little bit earlier. We picked it about a week and a half earlier than the other Pinot Gris. So you get this lovely crunchy green pear fruit character. It's really quite it was tight when we first made it, and it's kind of opening up a little bit more now, but it's a much crunchier, greener fruit character to it than our other Pinot Gris. It's also got some nice floral lift to it, bit of rose petal, bit of musk, as you expect from Pinot Gris. And it's got about just under 5 grams per litre of sugar in it. So it's not sweet, but it just gives it a semi-perceptible lift of fruitiness and juiciness that you get from just that little tiny bit of residual sugar. So some of you it'll be just on the cusp of your perception field that you'll taste a little bit of sweetness on the tip of your tongue with it, but it should just make the wine taste fruitier and a little bit less savoury than other Pinot Gris, which is completely dry. On its own, it's got this lovely sort of lime lemon fruit, crunchy green pears, as I said, green Granny Smith apples as well. Jeff and Sue have just had a new NBN line put in so that they would have faster, better internet. So I'm sorry to hear that it's not working as well as you wanted it to, Sue and Jeff. I hope you're on board again now. So really crunchy, like biting into a Granny Smith apple or one of those green Bartlett pears. And it's got lots of lovely natural acidity to it, makes your mouth water and makes you hungry and thirsty all at the same time. So last time we tasted this 7 months ago, we matched it to some cheesy cauliflowery sort of flavours, which I think worked really, really well. Nina's cheesy cauliflower pies, if you remember, and other people had just sort of melty cheese and maybe cauliflower cheese, that kind of thing with it. I thought the other type of food that I think works really, really well with this little Pinot Gris, which is still opening up in the glass, and I'm actually going to pop it in the other glass and see how it goes. So it's really nice and citrusy and green apple-y in that little glass. Put it in a Pinot Noir glass, see what happens. I think that it might change a little bit. It does, but do you know what? I think I like it better in the narrower glass. I'm getting more of the sort of talc rose petal characters that people sometimes get from Pinot Gris. It's a little bit like grandma's bathroom. The nice bits, the talc and the rose petals. It's quite pretty, but I think I like the crunchiness of the wine in there. So I'm going to pop it back in there and drink it out of that glass. Much better. Yep. Much more to my taste. More of the citrus, more of the green apple. I like a little bit of rose petal. I like a little bit of talc there. It's quite nice. Juicy fruit. Yeah, absolutely. Juicy fruit chewing gum. Yum, yum. Very good. Okay, so with that crisp acid, with that lovely juicy fruit character, with that tiny little bit of residual sugar, which, as I say, shouldn't taste sweet, just makes the wine taste fruitier. I think that it's going to go really well, possibly better with these Vietnamese spring rolls or Vietnamese rice paper rolls, and possibly the dipping sauce. But Craig's just saying the spice from the dipping sauce is killing the freshness a little. Okay, let me give it a go. Which dipping sauce are you talking about? The peanut dipping sauce, Craig? I'm going to just cut a bit off my rice paper roll because I think I'm just going to struggle to shove that all in my mouth and be able to speak anytime soon. So I've cut a bit off. I'm going to stick it in the peanut sauce, which I don't know if you guys made the peanut sauce from the recipe that I sent out. I've just made the easy one. I think the other one looked a bit more authentic, but this one's pretty good. I'm pretty happy. I put lime juice in mine rather than vinegar. I'm pretty happy with the dipping sauce. Still quite a mouthful. So, yeah, that's interesting. I reckon more hot. Okay. I've done the peanut version. I don't think I put enough chili in it, which is probably quite good with the wine. The thing I tasted the most was the mint, which worked really nicely with the fruitiness of the wine, and also the bean sprouts that I've got in my roll. So the green watery kind of juiciness of the bean sprouts is working really nicely with the green kind of juiciness of the wine. It's made the wine taste more savory, a little bit more herbal, which I think is really interesting. Kay made dipping sauce. I put sriracha in mine as well because I didn't have any other chili sauce to put in it. So I think that's absolutely fine, bit of sriracha, and I think it works pretty well. Although I would like my dipping sauce to be slightly stronger and slightly spicier. I've been a bit wussy. Not enough to enter your space radar, but excellent. So Alison's asking me if the recent vintage of Devil Bean Creek Pinot Gris, which do I think is better? I would answer absolutely categorically, and this was one of the reasons I was a little bit sad about selling most of it to Norway. I think this is the best Devil Bean Creek Pinot Gris that we've made, the 2020. I think a couple of the others were a little bit sweeter, and so therefore teetered over the edge a little bit for me as far as fruitiness is concerned. I really love the balance of the juicy fruit and yours is pretty spicy, Pete. I must have given you the extra spice. Peter and Nina. Peter took rice paper rolls and sauce that I made at home to Nina tonight. So I guess it depends on your spice tolerance, doesn't it? I like a bit of spice in my food. If it's going to be spicy, it might as well be properly spicy. So yeah, Alison, I love this wine. I'm actually going to give myself another little pour. Because I just poured a little bit because I thought it might be going into the other glass in a moment, but I think that works quite well. Pleasure, Nina. So this is, as I say, I think that, Alison, if we were making more Devil Bean Creek Pinot Gris in the future, I'd be aiming for something like this. And if you remember 2020, I nearly said 2010. It's dreadful when you start losing decades. 2020 was a pretty cool summer. People who weren't down here remember it as being, Pete, you had, bird's eye to the soy one. Okay, cool. Peter and Karen have 5-spice tofu. You sent me a picture that looked delicious. Nina's getting some lychee. Yes, absolutely. There should be that. I was hoping that the spiciness of the sauce might bring out a bit more tropical fruit character in this wine. So glad to hear that, Nina. So 2020, remember, was down here. All the hot weather that created the bushfires and stuff over summer went to the north of us, and we had a really cool, mild summer. It took a long time for everything to ripen. We picked relatively late in 2020. Here you go, Jill. You've got to help yourself. It's a bit sad, isn't it? Drink on your own. You can come over here and drink with us if you like. But 2020, because of that cool summer and that long, slow ripening period, we got really lovely intensity of flavour with that lovely natural acidity. So as I said before, you know, the citrus fruit, the green fruit coming out in the wine, that lovely juicy acidity that makes your mouth water and makes you want to eat some more food and drink some more wine is really rather awesome from 2020. And we don't always get a vintage like that, but I think we hit it just right there. Nareem says hi, Jill. She says hi back. I'm getting also on the nose now a little flinty note, which I think is rather lovely. It's just that little tiny bit of savouriness that we just don't seem to ever be able to completely avoid at Moorooduc, and I think we do that absolutely on purpose. We like a little bit of savoury flintiness. Oh, I can't eat that on camera. That's just falling apart. I'll have the other end. The middle bit was a mess. Okay, I'm going to try this now with the chili and soy and vinegar dipping sauce, which I think is going to be a bit more of a challenge to the wine than the peanut sauce. But that is delicious. And is much more spicy and brings out the lychee and the rose petals in this wine real, and a bit of extra spice. I think that's a lovely match. Actually, the soy dipping sauce, I think, works really, really well with all the flavors in this and the wine. Craig is asking if the less textural quality of this wine is due to the early picking. Absolutely. The wine was fermented predominantly in old oak. The little bit of wine that still had some residual sugar in it was actually fermented in stainless steel, and we chilled it down and sulfured it before it hit dryness to keep some sweetness in the wine, and then we blended some of that back into the wine, which gives us that control of how much residual sugar is in the final product. So yeah, it's lighter and fresher because it's picked earlier. It probably had a little bit less time on skins, even though the white wine doesn't spend a lot of time on skins. It does have a kind of a longer, slower pressing time as well, Craig. Fiona, definitely going to have to email Leonie for a case of this. Absolutely. I think it's a great wine with Asian food. I think it's really lovely with all the flavors that you get in Asian food and the dipping sauces. I'm going to try my last little handful of this end of this rice paper roll with the sweet chili sauce, because I think that will be quite interesting. Not the most elegant. Works pretty well with the sweet chili sauce too. And some of you will remember from when we were doing Drinks with Kate during the lockdowns, and when we were kind of just trying to find easy stuff to match to food. I don't know if it was this one or a different Devil Bean Creek Pinot Gris, but I recommended a really simple thing that people do for parties, which I think is underrated because it's so easy. But it's basically a tub of Philadelphia cream cheese that you tip upside down and then pour sweet chili sauce all over it. I think you used to be able to buy the cream cheese with the chili sauce in the packet, so you turn it upside down and you get the whole kind of thing all together. But I think that cream cheese, that sort of acid and tanginess and creaminess of cream cheese with the spiciness of sweet chili sauce works also really, really well with this wine. Nareem's saying this wine seems smoother and with a rounded finish compared to the other Duck Gris that I've tasted. Nareem, I think that might be partly to do with the little tiny bit of sugar in there. It just makes it a little... I know, Jeff, and so it's a very 80s thing to do, the old cream cheese with sweet chili sauce dip. It works really well with this wine. I've got bean shoots stuck in my teeth now. As long as you can't see them, I'll just ignore them. So that little bit of sugar, Nareem, really makes the wine pop as far as fruitiness is concerned, but also gives it a roundness and a softness on the back palate and on the finish, compared to the sort of more phenolic, dry Pinot Gris that come under the Moorooduc Estate label that we've made, have had longer in oak and don't have any residual sugar. And also the fruit is riper in the Moorooduc Estate Pinot Gris compared to this. So I think that's probably why it's seeming smoother and more rounded compared to the other Gris. It's got a bit less definition to it if you want to be a little hypercritical of it. And I think sometimes it's nice to have a wine that has a bit less definition. It's a little bit more straightforward. It's got lovely fruit definition. It's got lovely kind of roundness on the back finish, and it works really well with spicy food and the freshness of things like noodles and prawns and mint and chili and all of those lovely things that we love in our Asian food. If anyone's having banh mi as well, I'd be very interested to hear how it goes with the banh mi sandwich, because I think it would be rather awesome with that too. Fiona, you're having banh mi. How's it going? Is it working? What did you get in your banh mi as far as protein? Is it a porky one or a chickeny one, or what have you gone for? We've got a new Vietnamese restaurant in Mornington, which is crispy pork belly, fantastic. We've got a new Vietnamese restaurant in Mornington, which does very nice banh mi. But they don't do the pate. That's the thing. I love the coriander, love the pate in a good banh mi. Really awesome. And yeah, the lychee's coming up more and more in this wine now, probably because we've matched it to these sort of spicy flavors as well. I don't know, Fiona, I think it's more sort of mainstream banh mi without the pate. I think people get a bit scared of the pate sometimes. I really like that. It's lychee for sure, but it's also pot au feu. That's right, Pete. Absolutely. Home assembled. Well done, Fiona. Oh, beautiful. One of these days, I'm going to make banh mi from the start and make the pate and everything. I think that would be really fun. Peter and Karen, I always have the mock meat in my banh mi, but have to have the pate. I know. There's actually a lovely, there's a really nice little banh mi shop next door to the Prince Wine Store in South Melbourne. And when I'm teaching up there, I'll usually get a banh mi. And if you have the tofu version, then they don't give you pate unless you specifically ask, which is, I guess they assume that you're trying to avoid the meat. But anyway, whatever. There's also a really nice little bit of spice, a little bit of coriander seed coming up here, which I think works really well with the, if you've got coriander leaves or in your rice paper rolls or in your banh mi, I think that could also be working really nicely with this wine. So, Granny Smith in the wine works really well with the pork. Absolutely, Fiona. I think that pork and apple is a really good combo. And I think if you wanted to just, another really fun thing to do with this wine is if you've got a really good carvery nearby and you can get really good pork with crackling, particularly if they do a pork crackling roll. And my mind's going back to when I used to work at Philip Murphy's in Toorak in the late 1990s, and there was, and probably still is, because Toorak Village is Toorak Village, at the back of Toorak Village, off the car park, there was an amazing carvery that did the most incredible pork rolls, and you could get, pork with crackling and a bit of applesauce and maybe some roast potatoes in there if you were feeling really hungry. And I think something like that, that's kind of, big, juicy, meaty, cracklingy goodness would work really, really well with this too. So Craig has been gargling some sriracha with some chicken, and you need the sting to bring out the sweet fruit. Okay, so Craig is saying get more sriracha into you, everybody, and get that real kind of sting of chili to bring the sweet fruit forwards. And I think that is absolutely the case with a wine like this, that the more chili there is, the more the sweet fruit will kind of come forward. That little bit of sugar, that little bit of that juicy fruit will come forward more and do some pretty cool things. So get into it. So if you are, like me, a little bit sad that we're not making this wine anymore, Kay's agreeing, Craig, that is the way to go. I'm going to have a go at just bundling up this little mouthful and sticking it in my chili soy sauce again, because I think that also works pretty well. Yum. God, that's good. I love chili that clears out your sinuses and makes your eyes water. That's one of Jill's homegrown chilies from out the front. Pretty awesome. Yeah, if you love this wine, absolutely give Leonie a call. We can certainly sort you out with some of this in the short term. if you would like us to keep making a wine like this, then I think you need to petition. You can send the petition to me and I can pass it on to Jeremy and Richard. I think it's a really fun, delicious wine style. I think that we're having more issues these days with trying to find the quality of fruit that costs us the right amount to make Devil Bean Creek, if that makes sense. And we kind of get pretty serious here at Moorooduc, and we make serious wine. It's nice to have a little bit of fun wine as well. Yeah, Cotty, no, we're not making. Yeah, we haven't made it for the last 2 years. So if you want it again, then you need to stamp your little feet and wave your fists, and let me know, and I'll pass it on to Jeremy and Richard. I think we had trouble with our distributors not really kind of getting on board with it, and it's just taken a little while for people to get it. I think maybe they think we can't do fun wine at Moorooduc. We have to be serious. And I think also we're in a particularly strange situation at the moment that we don't really have any Devil Bean Creek. We don't have any Devil Bean Creek Pinot Chardonnay to sell. We don't have much Devil Bean Creek Pinot Noir to sell. So it's actually a time where we should have maybe a little bit more Devil Bean Creek Pinot Gris. So I shall feed back to the winemaking powers that be that you guys want to buy lots more of this wine. And I think Pinot Gris is really popular now. I think, though, Kay, a big problem is that there's a lot of Pinot Gris that's a bit Craig, we don't have to go all Halliday and only go after the scores. It's just, they just happen, man. Hi, James. This is this. I think that in the past we haven't had enough Devil Bean Creek Pinot Gris to even offer at Cellar Door, and we don't put the wine on tasting at Cellar Door either, Fiona. So it's not something that we've been pushing in the Cellar Door realm. It's more a wine for cafes and for restaurants to put on by the glass. And so I think that's probably one of the things that, we just need to help our distributors a little bit more and maybe, have a little bit available in Cellar Door. As I say, this wine, this 2020, we've got about 20 cases of it left. So that's enough for everyone to buy a case and be happy out of you guys. Yes, Craig, I'm ignoring you as well. Yeah. Okay. I was going to say there's a lot of people who are not really wine folk who love Pinot Gris, and they don't get our Pinot Gris because it's actually at $35 a bottle for this. They think it's a bit expensive for what Pinot Gris should be. Pinot Gris at the sort of $20 level and a bit lower is very popular. A little bit fancier is a bit hard, and I think that probably the more fancy wines, the estate wines and the single vineyard wines, get a bit more attention because people who are looking for higher quality wine will jump up to those, and then they'll taste our estate wines and be really happy with them, but not get to taste the Devil Bean Creek Pinot Gris. Anyway, Peter and Karen are saying you like the Pinot Gris, but you're always sad when the only Moorooduc you can find when you're having a nice meal is Devil Bean Creek. I would say that it's a good thing that you can at least find Devil Bean Creek Pinot Gris or Devil Bean Creek anything. But yeah, it is. I mean, it's really difficult because I think a lot of restaurants out there around Australia, and I'm getting feedback from Queensland and also from New South Wales as well as from Victoria that, everything's a bit tighter. Everyone's having a bit more, having to tighten their belts a bit. Just getting these wines on wine lists. The Devil Bean Creek actually doesn't seem to make it there as much as the estate wines. So that's interesting as well. What else have I missed? Alison, it's great value. It's a big step up to the estate. Yeah, I think that's right. I think that it is really good value for money and a delicious little crunchy Pinot Gris. Cotty, I'm glad to hear that Moorooduc Estate wines seem to be on the list on all your favourite restaurants. I think that over the last 5, 6, 7 years, I'm trying to remember how long we've been with our current distributors, but they've done an amazing job of getting our wines onto the restaurant wine list that we want to be on. And we weren't doing that with our previous distributors. They were having a bit of trouble getting into those places. So we really appreciate the work that Ian and Tom and Ian do, guys, getting our wine into the right places. And I'm absolutely delighted that it's on the list of all your favourite restaurants, Cotty and John. This is a great replacement for all the Italian whites that are filtering through. Much better bang for buck, Craig. I agree. I think the Italian wines are a bit cooler at the moment because they're Italian. You know, what's not to love about the Italians? They do great packaging. They've got a nice accent. They're good looking. And a lot of their wines are very nice too. Alison, the Melbourne list, absolutely. Cotty's Melbourne list, yeah, I think that's a good idea. Maybe Cotty, you can organise the next catch up in Melbourne and choose the restaurant as well. We can all go and eat there and drink Moorooduc Estate wine. I think that would be rather fun. I have some other news for you guys. There's nothing that has been finalised yet, but I finally had a meeting with Penny today to talk about Sicily, and we are madly writing each other emails in the next 24 hours to let each other know what we are looking for. We're looking at if we haven't left it too late, we're looking at doing about 10 days in Sicily as the sort of wine and food tour, which Penny's talking about maybe adding on. Hi, Penny, if you're there. Maybe adding on some optional extras before and afterwards, or if you just want to go and kind of hang out in, I don't know, Milan or Paris or London or something before or afterwards, then that will also be absolutely acceptable. About 10 days towards the end of May next year. So this is the current plan. We should, if Penny and I can get our schedules together, we should have some more information for you very soon. And I'm very excited to say that we had a really great conversation today about options. Penny thinks 10 days is not nearly long enough. I need to, if I come over to Europe, I need to go and do some work in London, and I've got another thing that I have to do while I'm there. But I think 10 days together would be amazing in Sicily, and I'm sure there'll be opportunities to kind of extend it out either way if people want to. So keep that in mind. Pencil it into the diaries. We are progressing. We're quite excited. Cody Katarina's, I know I've been following. So Katarina's is such a lovely restaurant in town that got flooded. It's underground and they got flooded a couple of weeks ago. And so they're in the process of trying to sort themselves out. Mateo's Bistro, but yeah, good. That's a nice little selection, Cody. So I think that could be very exciting. We're talking about maybe it can't be. It's by definition. When you're traveling around these little places in Italy, that well, exactly, Alison. That's correct. 10 days does seem like a lot, and it'll be quite wine and food focused. It won't be just wine and food. Obviously, there'll be, sightseeing and loveliness. Hello, Anne Marie. How lovely to see you again. Yes. How many people, Jeff and Sue? Well, we're talking about a small coach, so maybe 12 people. Let's see how we go with that. Let's sort it out. well, we'll see what everyone thinks. Yeah, so that's quite exciting. Okay, so team, with that little bit of exciting news. Now, I haven't checked what wine we're doing next week. What wine are we doing next week? Who can tell me? I think it's a Pinot Noir. I know we're doing Mencia in 2 weeks, which I'm very excited about. Is it a Robinson Pinot? I have a feeling it might be a Robinson Pinot. Talk amongst yourselves. It was lovely to see some of you at lunch on Sunday. Estate Pinot Noir. Excellent, Peter and Karen. So it's the 21 Estate Pinot Noir. That's very exciting. That's going to be lots of fun. I have a plan. Can we have Drinks with Kate t-shirts made for the tour so we don't lose each other? I think that's right, Shell. I think we need to maybe also team tracksuits, hats. We could just be complete dorks. What? Not yet. What? All get together, watch all 3 Godfather movies first. Yeah. Well, okay. Good, Craig. I think that's a good idea. We'll see which cinema will rent themselves out to us for a marathon. It will be warm in May in Sicily, Kay. So the plan is to go when the weather's nice, but before the summer season. So mid to late May is the plan. Watch this space. 2021 Estate Pinot Noir next week. We're going to do a really interesting food and wine match next week with the Pinot Noir. And I can tell you what it is right now because it's something that I've wanted to do on Drinks with Kate since the very beginning. And it's got Midnight in Sicily is a fantastic book, Peter and Karen. Thank you. Cotty, you are definitely missing out if you haven't seen the Godfather movies. They're pretty full on, but they're amazing. Particularly the first and the second one. The third one, I kind of lost me a little bit. Anyway, next week with the 2021 Estate Pinot Noir, we're going to do the Burgundian Pinot Noir dish that is very famous and controversially, I'm not sure how well it goes with Pinot Noir. This is why we're doing it, is œuf en meurette, which is basically eggs poached in a red wine and stock kind of reduction. I will send you a recipe. I love the idea of œuf en meurette. Well done, Peter and Karen. Eggies, exactly. And we're going to talk about the issues with eggs and wine and all things that I think are slightly problematic. But I do love a good poached egg. I do love a good Pinot Noir. So I think, yes, of course, avian flu. That's all right. The eggs are still available. We'll be fine. Yeah, okay. If there's anything that comes up in the news, we might have to change our mind. We might have a poached salmon instead. It is turning into MasterChef, absolutely, Cotty and John. Breakfast wine. Yes, Craig. Yes, Craig, absolutely. It's all marketing, the bird flu. Okay, thanks, Shell. That's good. That's good to know. I think we'll be fine with eggs. We're going to do a filmerette next week. I will send you a recipe. It's been awesome. Jill said some of the egg farms have got heaps of eggs, and if your supermarket's saying otherwise, just go to a different brand of supermarket. You'll be fine. Love you all. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your... I've got another Vietnamese spring roll to get through. I just couldn't put any more in my face while I was talking to you. So I'm going to go and enjoy that with my last little splash of Pinot Gris. I might even get myself organised to send out an offer for the Pinot Gris. You've had bird flu. It's overrated, Craig. Oh dear. We'll try not to. We'll try and avoid it next week. It's been awesome, team. Eggs and red wine. I know, Jackie. Jackie, you're very welcome to do a beef ragout as well. But I highly recommend you make the œuf en meurette because at some stage in your life, you need to taste it with Pinot Noir to decide whether you think it works or whether it doesn't. It's one of the great food and wine matches in Burgundy. You'll go to any restaurant in Burgundy and they will have it on the menu. It will be highly recommended. We will talk about it more next week. Until then, thanks everyone. Take care. Cheers. See you next week. Good work, Jack.